Good evening, Bobcat family. Time and time again, the campus administration knew the consequences of the preventable student housing crisis for so long, as the cost of living accelerated on unprecedented levels, outpacing supply, affordability, and trust. Last week's student protest was the first step in our campaign for further accountability and transparency from all players of affordable housing in Merced County. Based on multiple student testimonies that came forward into the public eye, the meaning of affordable housing may not always mean affordable housing. As Merced Station continues to maintain compromised housing contracts out of the consent of student renters, many of the 1,100 students don't have a choice on whether they can opt in or opt out of their leases. UC Merced's commitment to transition students to off-campus housing through information, research, and advising, I quote, was waning. Has there been any workshops or enough logistics to fulfill part of that mission? Has it reached every vulnerable student back then? Have we become, quote, responsible and knowledgeable renters? When Merced Station's crucial decision left us with no alternate precaution to become informed student renters? I will leave that to you to decide. But as I reiterated before, we still want answers. For those who have already secured their spots to on-campus housing before the outset of fall 2021, good for you. No question about it. While I share sympathy to most UC Merced students who have secured their housing status, there are still many out there running out of options on how to start off this fall semester the right way. Most students are not getting the relief they requested, given how the campus administration ultimately scrambled its way to right the wrong when the signs of housing insecurity could have been taken more seriously earlier. This uncertainty raises another debate for returning students. Why not issue gas vouchers that temporarily waive the parking permit during this critical time? Not every UC Merced student likes to commute further than the 15-mile radius of the campus. Parents and families across the state of California, day by day, are worried on whether their Bobcats will get the requested student housing they need. In most cases, your financial aid package is the lifeline of your college survival during every application process that you have to go through. Again and again, I will urge the campus administration to permanently waive the listing subscription so that mom and pop landlords can freely provide equitable off-campus services to reach more UC Merced students in the process. $50 per listing or $25 per listing isn't worth the snack to eat. This is a safe effort to reduce the complexity of applying and qualifying for housing offers. Making money out of a single listing is appalling. Off-campus housing should be a legitimate option, not a bank. Your community rental database isn't currently producing positive impacts for many UC Merced students as we had expected. It is illogical for the university to continue stressing the importance of returning to the classroom while we are witnessing unexpected exposures of COVID-19 cases being reported frequently from our emails for the past month or so. Envisioning the future far from reality of the present sometimes brings trade-offs on a table that will soon grow if not watched. Although the fall instruction date was postponed until August 30th, it's quite inefficient for returning students who are currently unhoused, especially the victims of Merced Station themselves. Every class you're about to take must have a remote option. We cannot bear the maximum costs of additional campus expenses when the possibility of staying safe on campus amid the Delta variant is vulnerable. Based on the latest student poll, 94% of UC Merced students are not in favor of the university, quote, opening substantially more campus residency. If you use the campus facilities, you pay it with student fees, correct? Is it possible to exempt UC Merced students who choose hybrid learning to not assume additional tuition expenses for now? Don't abuse our fragile budgets. Don't expect graduation rates to magically rise up within a year or so, simply because we're simply still bearing the burden of the student housing crisis, placing many from graduating on time or from freely participating in student democracy. Nonetheless, members of the student body always and must be invited to the decision-making table, even in crises. All said and done, I applaud ACCM's cumulative efforts to use every lever of their student government toolbox to ensure that no UC Merced student experiences homelessness. I, as an independent student advocate, will continue to push for further federal, state, and local investment on higher education through the Double the Pell campaign to mitigate preventable and avoidable crises, just as I had done as UC Student Ambassador last year. And I will conclude my segment with this message to all student athletes, student employees, Fiat Lux scholars, FSC and PFC, and all other RCO members who are still wondering on where they should stand on this matter. I ask for the last time, before you are about to begin your Bobcat experience in a new normal, to please join us, the student body, in the movement to protect every UC Merced student from housing insecurity in any way as possible. As a former ACCM official, I am deeply aware of how RCOs approach their response towards unprecedented times. They have the power to give a hand, while the campus administration is still proving ground on supporting UC Merced students when not falling in line with their mission statement. Your commitment as a student at UC Merced implies that you serve the Bobcat community through your experience, expertise, knowledge, passion, integrity, and credibility. Thank you very much.